Hello, I'm Beth Joey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. The winter season has officially begun, so it's time to talk about all the books that I want to read over this winter season. It's going to be a total of 15, so hopefully a fairly manageable 5 books per month, but let's be honest, if you've been watching my Beat the Backlog vlog series, then you know that the TBRs are really building up and I'm not good at completing them. So let's create another one. First up, we've got Warrior of the Wild by Tricia Levenseller. This is the author of the Daughter of the Pirate King series, and this series is more Viking inspired, and it follows our main character as she takes part in this coming of age trial, fails it, and as a result gets exiled by her father. In order to win her way back into the community, Rasmira has to embark on an impossible quest. In order to win her way back into the community, Rasmira has to take part in this impossible quest of killing the god who is terrorizing their village. And if she doesn't do that, then I guess she's just gonna die trying. Then we've got The Girls I've Been by Tess Sharpe. This follows Nora, who has just escaped her con artist of a mother, and the myriad of other identities has been left behind, only for her to one day with her friends get caught in an actual live bank robbery where she knows that she's the only one who can get them out of this alive because the bank robber has no idea the con artist daughter that they are dealing with. Next up, we have got Unsteady by Peyton Corinne. This follows Reese and Sadie. So Reese is a hockey player who is plagued with panic attacks after an incredibly difficult injury that he had, I think, in the prior season. And Sadie is a student on campus that seems to have a little bit of a bad reputation. So the two of these people bump into each other one day when Sadie witnesses one of Reese's panic attacks, and they strike up a deal that they will be there for each other, no questions asked, they are just there for comfort. But Reese slowly starts to find himself drawn to Sadie, and the feeling of everything that she gives to this hollow shell that he feels like he has inside of himself. But healing doesn't mix with secrets, and so these two are both skating on thin ice as they try to create a relationship. Next up, we've got Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. I loved these Violent Delights, the duology, and I cannot wait to read another, what I'm sure is going to be incredibly immersive world. So this follows Princess Kala, who vowed to take down the tyrannical rulers of Sang-Air, and she's done this by firstly killing her parents, and now she's after her uncle, the reclusive king. But in order to get close to him, she knows that she has to participate in a deadly set of games. Then we switch POVs and we've got Anton Makusa, whose childhood love lies in a coma, and his last chance at saving her is also winning the games. So the two people strike up an uneasy alliance, but naturally feelings grow between the two of them, and they have an interesting kind of allies slash rivals to lovers story, forcing Kala to decide between her lover or her kingdom. For another trials focused story, we've got The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I am finally picking up the Book Talk acclaimed book by, or series I guess, by Carissa Broadbent. This is a sort of vampiric fantasy romance set around some trials. It follows Aurea, the adopted human daughter of the Nightborn vampire king, where her only chance to become something extraordinary in a world that is literally designed to kill her is to enter the trials called the Kajari, where she'll be pitted up against a bunch of vampires. In order to survive, Aurea is going to be forced to make an alliance, and so naturally she's chosen the one person who is an enemy to her father's crown, and that is Rain. He is a mysterious and vicious vampire and her greatest competition, but of course Aurea finds herself unnaturally drawn to him, and I'm sure we'll get a bit of a enemies to lovers, rivals to lovers slash allies fantasy romance with vampires. That's a lot of tropes that I'm throwing at you, but I'm sure at least some of them are accurate. Next up, we have The Au Pair Affair by Tessa Bailey, which is the second book in this series of interconnected romances. The first one being, I can't remember, but I'll put the book up here, and I remember it was about golf. This is also a sports romance, except it is a hockey romance, which makes it vaguely wintry, so it's on this TBR, and it follows Tallulah, who is smart, vivacious, and studying to be a marine biologist. She's also broke, so when Burgess, a 26-year-old single dad, discovers that he is in desperate need of a nanny, Tallulah takes him up on that role. Tallulah can't wait to hang out with Lissa, who is the tween daughter of this hockey player, and also get herself involved in Burgess's dating life because she and everybody else except Burgess seem to be of the opinion that he needs to get back on the dating scene. Burgess, however, soon finds himself pulled between his daughter, who wants her parents to get back together, and this growing bond that he has with Tallulah, his live-in nanny. married. But combine a chance meeting and a new push from his daughter, Burgess is faced to put everything on the line as he potentially risks his heart and Tallulah's heart all over again to mend fences and give them a go. Then we've got Girls Who Burn by M.K. Pagano, which follows Addie, whose sister died a year ago, and she believes it is all the fault of the boy next door's cousin. Seth is the boy next door, and he represents everything that she loves to hate. His incredibly rich family is incredibly corrupt, plus the fact that his cousin potentially killed Addie's sister. But Addie can't deny the connection that burns between them, so she tries to convince Seth to team up with her to find the murderer and punish them. Then we've got Behind the Net by Stephanie Archer, which follows Pippa, whose ex absolutely crushed her dreams in the music industry, forcing her to take on the role of assistant to an NHL hockey team. Working for Jamie Tricia was supposed to be a breeze until he insists that she has to move in with him in order to be an adequate assistant. He's grumpy but incredibly hot, so she takes him up on the offer. Soon enough, she gets to know him a little bit better and realize he's sweet and charming, and also has a competitive streak when he finds out that her ex was never able to satisfy her in the bedroom. He encourages her and reignites that creative spark, that love of music that gets her back out on the stage again, as well as attending hockey games and just generally having a fun time, and so naturally they start to fall for each other. Next, we've got Ledge by Stacey McEwan. I am going to read you the blurb on this one because every time I try to read and memorize it, it just completely disappears from my head, because I feel like this is a story where I'm gonna understand it once I read it, but prior to reading it, just trying to get the blurb, I've got no clue. So it says, in a place known as the Ledge, a civilization is trapped by a vast chasm and sheer mountain face. Rations are small, living is tough, and there is no escape without befalling a deathly drop. What's more, every season the people must present themselves as a sacrifice to the Glacians, mysterious and vicious winged creatures who reside beyond the Ledge. Dawson has so far avoided the annual culling, but her luck has run out. She is ripped from her icy home with no idea what will happen to her. Enslaved, murdered, worse? Fortunately, a half-Glacian called Rion offers to help them both escape, but how can she trust one of the very creatures that plagued her life? Dawson is a survivor, and she is not afraid to cut down anyone to live. I think the cover of this just gives massively wintry vibes, so it's perfect for the winter season. Next up, we've got Five Broken Blades by May Corland, which is similar to Six of Crows in that it's a group of criminals who are forced to kind of band together after a common goal, and the common goal in this case is to kill the god King June. None of these five people can resist the sweet, icy lure of vengeance. They can agree on murder, they can agree on treachery, but for these five killers, each versed in deception, lies, and betrayal, it's not enough to forge an alliance. To survive, they'll have to find a way to trust each other, but only one can take the crown, so let the best liar win. Next up, we've got Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. This is a book set in a war situation. It's a fantasy romance, and it follows these two main characters who are rival journalists. For our female main character though, her brother is currently at war, and she has this magical object that she believes is sending her letters to her brother. But what's actually happening is it's sending all of her letters to our main male character, and he knows that these letters are from her, and he is responding to them, and she doesn't know, at least at first, that the letters that she's receiving back aren't from her brother. And so, helped by magic, Iris and Roman form this unlikely bond as they take their typewriters through the war-torn streets of this god war. Next up, we've got The Ugly Truth by L.C. North, and I just have to read you the blurb for this because I could not explain it better than the blurb does, and the blurb is exactly what captured me about this book. So it says, Melanie Lang has disappeared. Her father, Sir Peter Lang, says she is a danger to herself and has been admitted to a private mental health clinic. Her ex-husband Finn and best friend Nell say she's been kidnapped. The media will say whatever gets them the most views. But whose side are you on? Hashtag save Melanie, hashtag help Peter. And it looks like it's told through a series of like text message conversations and interviews and transcripts, so I'm super excited to read an incredible sounding mixed media murder mystery. Next up, we've got Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. I picked up the traditionally published version at Yalk, and I love the gold foiling on the hardcover, but as for what it's about, it says, no one in Imarath has ever seen a dragon until 5 eggs, long-thought fossils, hatched in the presence of their young princess, Elwyn Atara. Fearing the power his daughter would wield through her soul bond with the creatures, King Garrick imprisoned her for many years, desperately trying to break the bond that united them, until a daring rescue saved Elwyn from his clutches, but left her 5 precious dragons at his mercy. Years later, Elwyn is now a woman determined to free her dragons. Having established a queendom of her own, she is ready to do whatever is necessary to save her people from starvation and seek vengeance against her father, even if that means leaving the home she built for herself. or having to ally with the commander of Varaveth, Caden Veles, the most feared and dangerous man in all the kingdoms of Ravarin and her father's sworn enemy. The pull between Elwyn and Caden becomes impossible to resist, even when trusting each other seems both reckless and essential. But with the threat of war looming over them, the imminent heist to rescue Elwyn's dragons will be their most dangerous adventure yet. And lastly, to keep on the line of dragons, we've got When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I am finally picking up yet another TikTok famous book. As for what this is about, I got no clue, but it says, as an assassin for the rebellion, Rave's job is to complete orders and never get caught. When a rival bounty hunter shatters her world, Rave finds herself captured by the Guild of Nobles, a group of powerful fae. Crushed by the loss of his great love, dragon rider Can Vagor took the head of a king and donned his melted crown. Now on a tireless quest to quell the never-ebbing ache in his chest, a clue lures him into the capital's high-security prison where he stumbles upon the imprisoned Rave. Together they seek truths that threaten to unravel everything they knew about their world and each other. And I was lying when I said that was the last one because I forgot the book that I'm currently reading, which is Lightlark by Alex Aster. This book is set in a world where every 100 years, these 6 rulers of their respective kingdoms are brought together and given the opportunity to break the curses placed on those kingdoms. So we follow a character named Isla Crown, who is the ruler of the Wildling Kingdom, which is a kingdom of temptresses and warriors. But Isla has her own goals in competing in this competition, and so she forms uneasy alliances with some of the other rulers, all while knowing that in order to break the curse, one of them must die. So those are the 15 books that I'm putting on my TBR for winter. As you can see, I'm already reading one of them, so starting strong, but hopefully I am actually able to get through the full list. As for you though, let me know what is on your winter TBR if you are making one, or just let me know what you're reading at the moment, loving it, hating it, all that kind of thing. Come and chat to me in the comments down below. I really do love talking to you guys and starting a little community over here. As always, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want to be notified whenever I release new content. I'm hoping to post at least twice a week, and then more stuff always going over on my TikTok. Do check that out for like immediate reactions to the books I'm reading and what I think are funny videos, but I'll wait to hear your opinion. But that is it from me today, so I will see you next time in my next video. Bye!